There is no question, hunting whitetails is my absolute favorite. It is my passion. It's what I've done since I was a little girl. I've always dreamed of shooting and chasing big bucks, and now I've been able to make that a reality. Now, the one thing about hunting whitetails is there are a lot of ways that you can do it. Now, for me, I'm a firm believer in trying to make your hunts as interactive as possible. I literally go all around the country doing seminars on this topic alone, so I decided why not make an episode out of it and put all those tactics into one episode so people can learn from it and pick and choose what they want to try and learn. So in this episode, that's what we're going to be covering. We're going to go over ways to make your hunt more interactive. We're going to talk rub posts, licking branches, water holes, mock scrapes, hanging ropes, all the different things that you can do to bring the deer in front of your stand to keep them occupied so that way you can get your shot. Now the next thing we're going to talk about, well, that's probably my ultimate favorite, and that is decoying. I have decoyed in so many bucks over the years. The thing is, it doesn't always work perfect, and there are things that I've had to learn the hard way. So what I want to do is talk to you about ways to make you the most successful as possible the moment you go out, so you have a little bit less trial and error as you go. And lastly, well, we're going to be talking about rattling and finding ways to get in, to spot and stalk and get in tight on these deer, get right in their area where they live, put them antlers together, and just sit back and watch the results. It truly is unbelievable. And again, it doesn't work every time and it doesn't work in every location. What I like to do is give people an entire arsenal of things that they can go through and say, you know what, I've got a buck, it's just not working, what can we do? Let's try this. And it just gives people more opportunities to get out there, to make their hunts more interactive and to make it more exciting. There's nothing I enjoy more than rattling in big whitetails, and we got it done out here in Montana. So kicking it off, I'm a firm believer that we really need to put in as much time as possible before the season even starts. A lot of the things that I do in front of the stand, they're things that you can do months before season opens. The very first thing, I am a huge believer in water. Water sources are so important, and a lot of times we'll put in a water source, but over the years we've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger water sources. And the reason that is because the deer use them so much that we don't want to be going in and out trying to fill them all the time. We do have a great setup where we have a big water tank in our vehicle, we run it down with a hose and we can fill them up. But the problem is you're adding pressure to your properties every time you need to go in and water. So many of the places, we've ended up with some huge water holes, and we found that it's even more effective. Now the next thing, where we put those water holes, a lot of times we'll also put a rub post right there. Now off that rub post, a lot of times what we like to do is put a mock scrape up and have licking branches. Now Wildlife Research Center, they actually came out with an active branch kit, and that's exactly what this is for. It's a holder that you put on the tree, and it allows you to put 2 branches. Now on that top branch, what I like to do is I like to take and put a Magnum scrape dripper on there, fill it full of scent, and what this does is it drips daytime only. And that is so important because there's so many people that have run into bucks that come by and they are only nocturnal. They don't come out during the day. So when that happens, what you can do is use this, and what it does is it piques a deer's curiosity. They think, who is coming and working this scrape when I'm not there? And eventually they can't take it and they will come and check it out, and that's when you want to be on stand. Another thing we like to do is hang a golden rope. Now over the years, we've tried many different things. I started off by just using grapevines. They work. We had bucks coming in, and all it is a vertical licking branch that these bucks want to work over, and it's pretty unbelievable how well they work. The problem with them, well, the deer wreck them pretty quickly. And as soon as they knock them down, you gotta go in, and again, it's about pressure. So we wanted to find something that lasted a little bit longer. Well, we went online, we bought hemp ropes, we tried different things, we put scent on them, and they worked, but it took forever until the deer would start using them. So we wanted to find a better solution. Wildlife Research Center actually came out with the golden rope, and what this is a rope that doesn't have all those harsh chemicals and scents on it, and you get 3 in a kit. They also made a solution that you simply pour in, add a bottle of water, and dip the end of your rope, and I'll be honest, the results, they speak for themselves. These bucks are coming in literally within days of us putting it out and starting to use it. You've got bucks, you've got does, you've got fawns, you've got all the different deer, and I like to put it about chest high, and if you're doing this in front of your stand, it works amazing, because now you can have a mock scrape off one side, you've got your rub post for them to rub on, you've got your water hole, and now you can have a golden rope hanging off the other side, and what it does is it's keeping these deer busy. It's giving them all sorts of different areas to put their scent, and now they're busy while they're in front of your stand. So let's just say maybe you were on your phone or you weren't paying attention and all of a sudden the buck's right there in front of you. Well, now they've got a reason to stay there, and it buys you a little bit of time. Another thing it does is it allows you to draw a little bit easier. So this is a great way to kind of keep them occupied, allow you to calm your nerves, take your shot, and make the most of it. So not only do I believe that this will draw more deer into your stand, but now you can position it exactly where you want so you can hunt the correct winds, and once they get there, it gets you a little bit of extra time so that way you can calm your nerves and make the perfect shot. Look at this buck! Oh my goodness! I cannot believe it. We have worked so hard for this deer. This is the only buck I was after all season, and I put in the time. Just an incredible deer, beautiful main beams. We have so many spy point pictures of them. I can't believe it worked out. Yeah. Nice work.
This segment was brought to you by DSG Outerwear, doing something great for women in the outdoors by outfitting with the ultimate in fit, function, warmth, and comfort in women's hunting gear. Designed specifically for women, by women. Outfitting every season from sizes extra, extra small to 5XL. Visit dsgouterwear.com to find a retailer near you. This segment was brought to you by Sportsman's Alliance.
Did you know Sportsman's Alliance tracked over 1,000 bills and issued more than 400 state alerts to protect your outdoor passion last year alone? Thanks to your help, anti-hunters were slowed or even stopped in many states. As a thank you, the Sportsman's Alliance is giving away this incredible hunting package, including a Winchester XPR in a 308, a Leupold scope, a Winchester gear package, and so much more. All you have to do is sign up at sportsmansalliance.org or scan the QR code for your chance to win. While you're there, sign up to receive alerts so when anti-hunters target your state, you'll be the first to know. So this entire episode is all about finding ways to make your hunts more interactive. I am a huge believer in it, and not only does it make it more fun, but it also makes you more effective. So earlier we talked about ways to put out water holes, rub posts, licking branches, mock scrapes, and hanging ropes to keep the deer in front of your stand. But another thing that you can do during the rut to increase your odds, well, that is use a decoy. Now the key with decoys, number one, finding the right decoy. Now you want a decoy that looks realistic, and I always tell people, watch what real deer do when they're coming to fight. When I've got a buck coming in, their hair is all bristled up. Their ears are pinned back, they're walking super stiff-legged, and they don't do a lot of moving, so that's where you can kind of win with your decoy. The bad part is, not not all decoys are the same. There's some decoys that have their ears forward. He doesn't look like he's postured, and that is so important. It's not just a buck in the area, it's a buck with his ears pinned back, his hair bristled up, and he is mad, and he's telling the other buck, get out of here. And what that does, bucks just can't handle it. If they are the mature, dominant buck in that area, they can't take it. I've done it over and over. And on these big bucks, it's unbelievable to watch. When they're coming in, not only does that get your heart racing, but you know you put that decoy out. You made all this happen, and you always want to add a little bit of realism to it as well. So what I like to do is I like to try to trick 3 out of their 5 senses. You put your decoy out, now that's your visual. The next thing you do a little bit of rattling, grunting, a snort wheeze, so that way they hear something. And you don't do it too often, less is more. So now you've got a buck that hears something, he comes in to check it out a little bit closer, and now he sees your decoy. The next thing a whitetail will do every single time, they're gonna try to get downwind of your buck. So you wanna make sure that they do not smell you and they smell what they should be smelling. So what I like to do is I take a bottle of Scent Killer Gold and I completely spray my decoy down. That way it gets all my odor off the decoy, and then I'll take a bottle of Golden Scrape and I'll pour it either right on the decoy's hocks or down below the decoy. What you're doing is you're adding so much realism to it that these bucks, they completely are duped. They will come in, and as they're coming in, watch them closely. Now let's say your shot's not perfect. By having a decoy out there, you would not believe how many times you're able to get a second shot if needed. These bucks are so fixated on that decoy, and they truly believe that decoy is what hurt them. It allows you to knock a second arrow and get another shot and put them down. What an amazing night. This is the first time we set up on this buck. We had one buck here that we were after, and I just smoked him. Oh, this is blood trail. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's got some stickers here. Just a wide old buck. There is no question. This buck thought he was the king of this whole area. He heard my rattling, saw the decoy. He was not having it. We had a few pictures of him. We knew he was here, and we made it happen. It's later in the season, just after Thanksgiving. This is awesome.
This segment was brought to you by Boss Buck. For the most user-friendly and dependable feeder on the market, choose Boss Buck feeders. Now you're getting serious. Winchester Deadly Passion is presented by Winchester, the American legend. Baku, elevate your game. Get better blood trails and quicker kills with Easton Axis arrows. HHA Sports, range, dial, shoot. Scent Killer Gold with Hunt Dry Technology Plus. Apply it, dry it, and go hunt. Rage Broadheads, leading the evolution in lethal technology. Spy Point, the mobile scouting solution. Sportsman's Alliance, protecting hunting, fishing, and trapping in all 50 states. Moose Utility Division, your leader in ATV and UTV accessories. Shoot United, make the shooting sports a part of your life. Cold Steel, anytime, anywhere. Hunt Stand, the #1 hunting app in the world. And these other fine sponsors.
So this whole episode is all about interaction and finding ways to make you a better, more effective hunter while having a little bit of fun as well. It is 8 degrees, so the pressure's high. I think today's gonna be an awesome day for deer movement. Yesterday we had pretty snowy conditions. Not a lot of deer movement, but we had heavy wind. Today we've got almost no wind. So 8 degrees, high pressure, no wind. And we're in November. It's gonna be a good day. But I have become a firm believer in using a decoy. And one of the reasons why is sometimes you're not paying attention. Let's face it, if you're sitting there from dark to dark, there's gonna be moments where you're not looking out the window. I like to have snacks. I like to eat a lunch. Sometimes I even fall asleep. But I'm like anybody else, and you wanna have something that's gonna hold those deer for just an extra second. A decoy does that. There are times that you may have bucks cruising through and you didn't even know they're there. And all of a sudden you look up and there's a buck standing over your decoy. The key is, one, watching that they're not gonna hit your decoy. That's the only time I tell people you have to rush. And number two, watch their ears. If their ears are still pinned back, you have got them and you have nothing to worry about. Now, if they're coming in and all of a sudden those ears flip forward, they may have seen something they don't like, and now you may be limited on the shot opportunities you have. So those are a few little things that you can do to watch their mannerisms as they're coming in. Now, a perfect example, I decoyed a buck in Illinois last year, and this was a buck we had been after. And I put my decoy out, I had everything set up, and he came in, and I just waited and waited and waited. Went down, tried smelling my decoy, smelled what he wanted, came back, and I was just super patient. I waited until he got exactly where I wanted. He was broadside, right behind my decoy, so about an 18-yard shot, and I was able to make a perfect shot on him. And when I went up and I found this buck, well, I found out that his entire skull was broken. For years, we had seen his pictures, and we always knew he had a goofy rack on one side, but his skull was actually cracked. When we removed and got the skull plate, we could see a huge crack in it. And that right there, it shows you the power of decoying. Because if you can bring in a buck with literally a cracked skull during the rut, that shows you how powerful decoying can be. And if you hit it right, which in my opinion is late October, all the way through November, and usually a couple weeks into December, you can have some incredible luck. And one of the crazy parts is a lot of times people think the end of November, decoying's over, time to hang it up. And a lot of times that could be true, but I'm a firm believer in watching what the deer are doing. If you see some of those bucks kind of start chasing again, a lot of times those young fawns, they'll come into estrus a little bit later than those big does, and sometimes that can be in December. And if you're starting to get a little bit of that rutting activity, put that decoy back out. I did it in South Dakota mid-December, put the decoy out on a big open field where I knew the deer were feeding, and what it did is it drew those deer in front of my stand. Again, one of the challenges when you're bow hunting is trying to figure out on a big open field, why would they want to eat in front of my blind? What's the difference to them? Well, by putting that decoy there, what I did is I drew some of those fawns by, some of the does by, and then all of a sudden the buck was curious. And he wasn't curious enough that he was gonna come and probably plow into it, but he pinned his ears back, he started sidestepping into my decoy, and it gave me the perfect shot on a late season hunt when otherwise I may not have had much of a chance. So again, decoying, it's a great way to do it during the rut and even a little bit later as well. And it may be a little bit of a pain to carry in. It may be a little bit more work and it might sometimes frustrate you, but when it all works out, and it does, it is absolutely worth it.
Oh my goodness, this is so awesome. We have had probably one of the best late seasons that I've ever had out deer hunting. We've been putting in the time, and this just worked perfect. This was one of the biggest bucks we had on camera, and we have hunted hard. We passed some of the smaller bucks. We moved a trailer blind into a picked soybean field, and it worked out perfectly.
And it's such an incredible feeling. Decoying is my favorite way to hunt, and if you've never tried it, it is absolutely worth a try.
This segment was brought to you by Matthews Archery. Elevate your archery experience with premium compound bows, accessories, apparel, and branded goods. Visit MatthewsInc.com to learn more. Winchester Deadly Passion is presented by Winchester, the American legend. Matthews Archery. DSG Outerwear, doing something great. Fleet Farm, built for real life. Nocturnal, bright, long-lasting, string-activated. Walkers, protect it or lose it. Safari Club International, first for hunters. Bog, engineered for the unknown. Boss Buck, for the most user-friendly and dependable feeder on the market. Keen Outdoors, the world's most versatile, fully portable hunting stand platform. Winchester, the American legend. And these other fine sponsors.
So this is one of my favorite episodes because it's all about interaction and finding ways to make you more effective as a whitetail hunter by using interaction. Now we've talked about things that you can do in front of your stand with water holes, licking branches, mock scrapes. We've talked about decoying, some of the do's and don'ts and things that you can learn. And the last thing I want to talk about on interaction is rattling. And I absolutely love going out to Montana, going to some of these locations and getting right in where those whitetails live and hitting those rattling antlers together. The key that I've found is making it realistic. You want to get in nice and tight, be quiet getting in, and set up where you've got a little bit of back cover, but don't put yourself in a position where you can't see well enough to get a shot. Stay in the open enough, as long as you're not moving. These bucks are coming in, they're looking for where that sound is, and as long as you're ready, it can work out absolutely amazing. So one thing I always like to do is when we're getting ready to rattle, we'll try to nice and easy sneak in and get set up. Now I use a Bog death grip, and what that is it's a tripod that actually holds my gun in place. And I think this is so important when you're rattling, because what it does is it holds your gun at the ready, exactly how you need it, so that way you can use your hands, be rattling, moving around, and if something comes in, you can literally drop the antlers. In a small motion, you're right on the gun. And that's what's so important, because when we're gun hunting, a lot of times, well, I don't have any sort of a decoy out. So you don't have that visual. They just hear it, and they're always gonna hear it, and then they're gonna try to get downwind. So always know where your wind's going and where they're gonna catch it, so that way you can get a shot before they ever get there. So over the years, I have rattled in a ton of deer out in Montana and in numerous locations using these methods. It's so important to try to get good big antlers, to do a little rattling, grunting, snort, wheeze, and then hit some branches as well. A big fight takes place, they don't just stand there and tickle horns, they're knocking things down. So make it realistic, and I can promise you, using any or all of these tactics will make you not only more effective of a hunter, but it'll make it more exciting for you in the field.
And the rattling, you cannot beat it. It is just action-packed, and we've got such great people hunting these river bottoms. Powder River Outfitters, they have got muleys, whitetails, elk, you name it. It is awesome out here.
And the best part is I always feel so honored to be part of the Winchester team, to get out here, to have their engineers come up with these cool new calibers, different things, they're constantly innovating, and for me to be one of those people to get out in the field, to put it to use. And the 6.8 Western, it was phenomenal. I truly believe this is going to be something that people will want and people will love. You get the best of both worlds, and obviously, well, the results speak for themselves. This was an incredible blood trail, and a quick, clean, ethical kill on a beautiful Montana whitetail.
It takes a spark to light a fire.
This segment is brought to you by HuntStand, the #1 hunting app in the world. Everything you need, all in one app. Precision mapping tools, custom map options, offline mapping, track wind and weather, real 3D, landowner information nationwide, and public hunting lands near you. Closed captioning is brought to you by Spy Point Trail Cameras. Stunning picture quality combined with leading cellular technology will keep you instantly in the loop right from your phone.